Welcome everybody to the AI in Print webinar. We've got an action-packed hour for you. I sound like an announcer already, but we've assembled what I think is a really good panel to give people, I don't want to say like a shopping mall, but an idea of what people are doing in the print space with AI. So, um, how did we come together? A little background. Well, 3 out of 4 of us are going to be front and center at the Printing United uh, show in Orlando in, I think it's the 22nd. And there's an AI pavilion right as you walk in. And I think there's 5 or 6 of us. 3 of us are here today. So we're either giving you a little preview or we're maybe giving you a reason not even to stop by because you'll probably get more from this than our short showings over the few days there. But either way, I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. This is pretty much a passion for all of us here. We could speak the rest of the day. So I'm going to start. This is what we're going to do here. I'm going to introduce each one. They're going to give a very quick, couple 5-minute intro on what they do with some slides. And then we're going to move directly into a Q&A so that everybody can ask questions. They can make the points they want to make. And I think we may have a few surprises for everybody at the end. I know that anybody who's got a new AI product or service, they want to get people on board, they want to try it. So I think there may be some freebies. So do stick around. We also have some interesting polls. And after we do the intros, I'll ask the first one. Hey, Deb. Deb popped up and said hello. Good to see you, Deb. I hope we'll see you in Orlando next month. Actually, next month is tomorrow. But anyways, before I get into a full Q&A with the audience already, who are right there, we've got a full house. I was worried we were going to exceed our webinar license today. I think we made it under the wire. So I'm going to start with Dave. Dave, why don't you explain who you are and what you do and show us your slides. And we're going to keep this brief, but everybody's going to get a chance. And then we're going to ask questions. Over to you, Dave.
All right, thank you. I'm Dave Hultin. I'm the president of Marketing Ideas for Printers. And our promise is simple. It's helping you sell more printing. We have a 40 plus year legacy of doing that through websites, direct mail, social media content, and much more. That's our legacy. And now AI is the most exciting new chapter in that same story. And when AI was just starting to go mainstream, I started exploring AI partly out of curiosity, but mostly because I wanted to make sure Marketing Ideas for Printers was prepared for a world about to be saturated in AI. And so I started my AI deep dive through the lens of marketing, but it quickly became obvious we need to help printers with AI, not just in marketing, but in every aspect of their business. And Corey, who's on the screen there now, he's kind of the poster child for that. He used an AI workflow to do a 2-week project in just 35 minutes. And that's where I get excited about AI, is just seeing how it can just really just compress calendar time so much, and not only compress it, but improve the quality. So we've added AI into our suite of ways that we help printers sell more printing. And AI4printers.com is where all of that happens.
Thank you very much, Dave. It's informative. Obviously, there'll be a lot more to say. Did we lose? There he is. All right. Well, we're gonna jump over to Steve. Steve, tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me pull this up. So, a lot of folks in the printing industry probably have heard me talk, have interacted with me in the past. Whoops, I gave the wrong presentation. Hold on a second. I've been doing a lot of these presentations recently, so that's you see me. I was at Label Expo last week. Let me go back to the share here and share something different. And
I think you have to
1 second.
stop the share first, and then you can.
Yeah, let's stop the share. Okay, let me try that again. And let me open up the right file first. Um, Here we go. That's the one we want to share. And I believe, oops, stop the share. I'm going to try that one more time. Uh, there we go. That's the right guy.
Even the
Yeah.
technologically adept have problems.
If anybody has had this problem when you've got too many tabs, too many screens open, and it's only, what is today? Tuesday. That's one of the things we all suffer for. And I think with AI, it's happening even more. So I'm by title, I'm Steve Metcalf. I'm the co-founder, CEO, and chief AI officer of what we call Imagine AI Live. It's an organization that I founded over 2 years ago to help businesses find their way with AI, find their way with AI use cases faster. We've run three conferences, two major events in Las Vegas. We had one in May. We partnered with Printing United Alliance for that. And then I've been taking the stage a lot since then at other events, as I mentioned, Label Expo, and then probably about one a month now that we're going out and talking to a lot of printers about AI because I came from this space. Um, but just kind of showing what we do. This is imagineai.live. This is sort of the thing that started it all for me and my journey with AI. But I've been a technologist my whole career. I used to sell technology into the graphics industry in the UV space. So if anybody owns UV presses, AMS Spectral UV, I was the former CEO and co-founder of that. But I've been at heart a technologist and an innovator, and I believe that AI is the most transformative thing we'll ever come across in our professional lives, and that will have absolute profound impact on every aspect of our business. So we did this. We also, one of the things that are finding are incredible use cases for AI. And another thing that I'm a proud co-founder of is a company called AdLegends Inc. AdLegends.ai, and there's a QR code here. Anybody's welcome to screenshot or snap those. Is what we believe the world's first fully functional AI-powered advertising agency. And as many people know, advertising intersects printing in some major ways. This is a way to get kind of upstream in that space. And we use AI to literally jumpstart the creative process. So any kind of campaign that a client or a brand might have, the traditional agency model is going to fundamentally change. If you read the headlines, like most big, knowledge-based industries, it's going under rapid transformation. So AdLegends AI is one of the tools that we're putting out there to help people do in minutes what used to take months and cost a fortune to do. And my co-founders are some very smart people in the advertising creative world. So that's something worth noting. Another thing I get asked all the time is, how do we get better at AI? So I'll take the stage, I'll come off the stage, we'll talk about a lot of different examples of AI use cases. And oftentimes I don't have a great answer until recently. So Imagine AI Live, our conference business, put together a tool that we call Prompt Artist. This is promptartist.io, and there's a QR code there for it. And it's essentially a way to jumpstart the prompt generation process. Large language models and AI models are getting more and more sophisticated and more capable all the time, but our prompting skills really haven't kept up. And so a lot of times people will give up. Yeah, I tried that on ChatGPT, didn't work that great. You have to really create award-winning prompts. And there are ways to do this, but you have to kind of have the skill to do it with the AI models. Or you can go in and we've built this tool on promptartist.io where you just ask the AI what you want to achieve, and it will go help you craft an award-winning prompt that then you put into one of your favorite tools like Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT or the others. And that's it. And then we have tons of content available on imagineai.live, which is our conference site. This happened just a few months ago, but there's some really cool content, relevant information that's out there, and anybody's welcome to go check that out if they missed the event. That's me in a nutshell. You can reach me on LinkedIn or steve@imagineai.live, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Steve. Good. I learned more in that couple of minutes than anything else. But right to Aous, you please take the stage and tell us what you do.
Thank you, Brad. Just a minute. It's my screen. Okay, thank you. So my name is Aous Mansour. I am the founder and CEO of GoMake. I actually was born and raised in the printing world, surrounded by offset, flexo, large format, and many other machines. I'm an engineer. I also a second generation printing industry. So I love printing, its community and the way it works. And my goal was always to bring new technology into the industry that can make our life much more easier, especially my father's life, and much more flexible and more enjoyable, of course. And with GoMake, we build a new AI capabilities to make this possible. So we help him keep their machines full and without rely on one person or a single expert and with much less efforts. And this is why we developed the GoMake in the first place. Okay, just a minute. Maybe we can just put a bigger screen. Okay. I would like to start to share a few things most of us we see in our daily work actually. First, we all know jobs are getting shorter, and we all know that it's also much more costly. Secondly, after 3 decades of pushing technology forward, guess what? Even in 2025, more than 80% of the jobs still come in the old-fashioned way, emails, messages, and phone calls, not the fancy portals we thought everyone will use eventually. And here's the toughest one. 73% of the companies say it's nearly impossible to find skilled people with the knowledge we need. So that the reality is complexity, fewer resources, and same old habits actually. So AI is here, it's everywhere. We need help, and sorry, and it is powerful, but it is generic. To make AI useful in printing, it must understand each company, each production line, and the way we actually work, not just the generic process, the real process we run every day. And this is what we are building at GoMake, combining AI with process-driven engines that we can actually trust. So GoMake is what I trying to say, that GoMake is a process-oriented AI. You onboard your machines and materials, and the system can understand how your production really works. That allows everyone, expert or even a new talent, to create a very accurate quote and workflow and job in just in a minute. And this means that every job can capture with a machinery will still full, and customers can gain trust through instant and very accurate response that go straight into the production. I actually can love like to show even here to show how it works. So the system can capture any product you request. You just enter the required inputs, and just in a second, the system used real data and check out with all your options, including times, cost, availability, to dedicate the optimal production flow. It gives you the deep cost and price analysis instantly. So you can just in a second send for a customer for approval, and once it's approved, it moves straight into the production with all the requirements. So this is just more than quoting. It's opened the industry to new possibilities. Want to make it more accessible, more connected, and much more enjoyable. That's mean everyone from expert to new talent can test, simulate, and jobs and workflows. And this shift will allow us to focus on more in creativity, innovation, customer experience, real performance, and all the automation of the AI will handle all the complexity in the background. And that's the future we are building in GoMake. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aous. Good. So just to recap, so Dave, yours is sort of workflow automation with AI. I'm just going to guess to say, Aous, yours sort of relies more on actual production. It's focused on production workflow, correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. All right, so I guess it's my turn. I wanted to make a point as the host. I can do this, capture and emphasize something that Steve said. I believe in the next 5 years, technologically, there will be more change than in the past 30 to 50 years combined. Okay, it will touch every aspect of our daily lives more than the internet explosion did in the late 90s and early 2000s. Prove me wrong. Anybody disagree? Probably not. All right.
I'll add to that and say I have the proof that that's true is because my wife, who is not very technology friendly, uses AI every single day now.
Yes, it's the adoption has been like a hockey stick, as was the internet. but this is something that's going to, when the I don't want to be cliche and use the word robots, but as it moves into actuators and physical mobility AI, this is where it's going to turn everything upside down. And some of it is going to be a hard swallow for a lot of people, and it will change the world. But not to scare anyone, we will be okay. It will be some rough spots, but we will get through this. All right. So I'm now going to share what I got going on. I think most of you have probably seen me before, but I'm the founder and CEO of DirectMail 2.0, and we have a few different little things here. We've got Who's Mailing What, and today I'm going to talk about DM20.ai, which probably most of you have not heard of. This is where my technological problems. So I was going to show you a quick little intro video that we just finished. I'm going to hopefully the sound and the video is hearable. We did test it, but this is what DM20 AI is. Okay, I'm going to play it for you now. And why can't I get my mouse over there? Oh, there it is.
Direct mail is powerful, but it's expensive. What if you could know how your campaign will perform before you ever print or mail it? Meet DM20.ai, the first AI-powered predictive engine for direct mail. Simply upload your proposed mail design, and our system instantly analyzes it against a decade of diverse direct mail campaigns by industry, location, audience, offer, and creative. In seconds, you'll see how your campaign is likely to do before spending a dime on printing and postage. No more guesswork, just clear, data-driven recommendations to maximize ROI. Powered by the largest archive of US direct mail, over 1.5 billion data points, DM20.ai gives you unprecedented confidence to test smarter, mail less, and earn more. DM20.ai, marketing intelligence, mail confidence. Upload your campaign today and start predicting success.
Okay, so I think that kind of explains it. So basically, I had this idea. We've been launching or directing marketing campaigns with direct mail for almost 10 years, and we've got all this data. I knew we better keep this data. We have the creative, we have who it was sent to, we have the verticals, we have the results of the campaigns, not the ROI, but the engagement point. Did they call? Did they go to the website? Did they engage with any of the marketing? So we know how the campaigns did. So we took all of this data, hired a couple of data scientists, and I'll go back to my little deck here that kind of explains what we did. But we took all of that data. If I can change the page, I don't know if it takes a long time to load or what's going on, but that page will not move, will it? Let me try it. Let me move it. So what we did was we took all this data, and when I say normalized, we put them into little bell curves. You know, how many people engaged with this campaign and this vertical at this time of the year and these zip codes. So imagine making thousands and thousands of little graphs, and then we used those graphs and we chopped off the outliers, the ones that did extremely poor or did overly well and couldn't be justified in a normal bell curve. That's how we took this and normalized those. So then we have a benchmark for every industry, for every type of mailing, for every zip code combination. And we can then, somebody uploads their information. And basically, when they do that, we take it and apply it against these graphs. And then what happens is we plot where that one would lie with the same data points. So I'm going to now show you what that actually looks like. Where's my share? Hold on a second. Yeah, you got a bunch of technology guys that are. So you can see this again. So what it looks like here is you basically upload your images, which I'm not going to bore you with. You upload your industries, you upload your mail date, mailing list types, class of mail, mail quantity, the number of times you're going to mail, and you select from a various myriad of locations. Once it goes up, you then have a reference for that campaign, and I'm going to show you one where it gives you back this interactive dashboard and it plots it on a 0 to 100th percentile. So as you can see, without any recommendations or tweaks, natively as submitted, this campaign hit about a 54 out of 100. With these recommendations, which you can see here, we can get it to about a 71 out of 100, which is really good. That's actually about the 98th percentile when you put it on a percentile graph. And it will tell you, what is this? What's clutter? How do you implement that? It's reviewing the design elements, remove unnecessary text, simplify the layout, or increase white space. Color temperature. Believe it or not, some people don't put a phone number in the right place, so it can't be seen. Changing the mail class. We're working on this, and this is a first run beta test. And we're now taking this information and we're actually licensing Claude and ChatGPT to take the actual hard numbers from the data scientist and output better recommendations based on ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude's recommendations creatively of what can be done by looking at the piece, and actually hopefully provide you with usable results for that. So that's kind of what we're doing. And again, this is very early in the stage. I've been working on this for a year, but that's really what are the results of this, So anyways, this is kind of where we're going to break down and we're going to start talking about the questions that have come up from this. I wanted to just make some more points that this is one of these things, and again, I like to go back because I'm unfortunately or fortunately old enough to have lived through the first dot-com era boom in the late 90s and early 2000s, where everybody was putting things online and nobody really knew where it's going to go. But you kind of got to a point where if you didn't have a website, you were sort of lost. You weren't keeping up. You weren't even at square zero. And then it got to the point where nobody trusted to buy things online. The e-commerce, oh gosh, I've never put my credit card online. Now everybody does it every day without a second thought. So with these barriers that people had to get through to be able to start adopting and utilizing this technology, it fell away very quickly. And it's going to happen with AI even faster. So if you're not using AI in your business, whether it's a workflow or to help you with marketing, or I'll be honest, I'm buying a piece of technology I would normally call my lawyer and spend thousands of dollars. I had the entire ChatGPT draft my legal agreement. And in fact, let me give kudos. I used Perplexity, which is a later one that's come out more recently, and it drafted my legal agreement. Ran it by my brother, who's an attorney. He said, "You don't have any state specifics, but it's 95% of the way there." And what did that cost me? Nothing. Okay, not trying to put lawyers out of business here, but you can save your business lots of money by using these tools. So it's encouraged that you use these tools. They're not really there to bilk people out of money, and you should only use what actually helps you. So hopefully I'm going to build something that actually helps people. We are not there yet, but one of the things I'm going to do today is I'm going to open up my private beta to a more public beta for people who have used this, because I need the feedback. I need to know what people say or think or where it's falling short in terms of what it's giving back. This will not be a free service, of course. This is made to be a paid service, as all of us here are probably need to make money on what we're spending our time on. But it's very important that we get this right, and I'm not claiming that we're there and we're over the rainbow. I need feedback, and I am definitely not Sam Altman, and I do not have billions and billions of dollars in the bank to hire 20,000 engineers and build something that the world's never seen. I'm not that guy, okay? But I'd like to try to do something that's valuable here. So anyways, enough of my grandstanding. I'm going to go to questions. We have a couple, unless any of you want to make a point or counterpoint to what I've just said?
I'll add to what you had mentioned about using AI as your lawyer, and I wouldn't necessarily use that in every single case, but one of the areas that I've personally had a lot of success. And I'll go back to my wife again. I didn't know she was going to be such a big part of this all of a sudden, but she had a small hobby business and just sold it recently. Very similar, I suspect, to what you just said. It just spun up an AI team of experts, work that I would have waited for and paid for. Now hers was a small hobby business, so it's not a one size fits all type of thing, but it gets done like that. And it's the difference between using AI just on the surface or actually building some expectations from how you're using it.
So did anyone have another point? Otherwise, I had a specific question for Dave with regard to his product. I guess I'll just ask it. So, were there specific bottlenecks that you got from your customers that you specifically kind of put your nose to the grindstone to find an AI tool for? Or was this some tinkering, or how did you come to this point?
Yeah, I guess it really just starts with just saying AI is my, and then fill in the blank. AI is my proofreader. AI is my financial advisor. AI is my board of directors. Just the same way I just mentioned, spinning up a team for my wife to sell her business, using AI in a way that's just bigger than the trivial. And but that doesn't mean it has to be complex. I mean, some of the simplest examples are just kind of thinking beyond what's right there on the surface. I just think of one of the early wins was telling a printer, just grab your phone, grab a picture of that newsletter, and say, AI, you are a proofreader. What do you see? And we all have spell check, but having AI take that extra look, boy, you all know the drill. You want to save that, you want to get those big wins before you go into production. And simple examples like that, it's the proofreading of other printers saying, okay, well, there's an error code on that machine. Old way, call the service provider, wait a day, come out, wait for the fix. Or the new way, say, AI, what is code 1234? And here it is, and go try this. It's just the simple wins of treating AI as your best buddy, right? Working side by side with you and just fill in that blank. AI is my fill in the blank. Writing standard operating procedures, calculating budgeted hourly rates. We could keep the list going on forever.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Steve, what was your sort of draw towards AI and connecting it in for use cases within the print or graphics community?
Yeah, I think like a lot of us, I mean, you sort of go down this path and I think the more you go down that path, the more you accelerate the rate at which you're going down that path and the doors that open up. But I remember thinking, we're almost 3 years on the anniversary of when most of us got a hold of AI for the first time with ChatGPT. And it's hard to believe because, I use the analogy a lot, like the speed at which this change is coming every month feels like a year used to feel in terms of tech development. So you had the pre-ChatGPT, a year felt like a year. A year of software was a year better the next year. Now it's basically every month you almost have that same discovery and ability. So it's coming very fast, but it requires this sort of mindset shift to, like what Dave was saying is what is AI for you now in this moment? And much like, you know, we pick up our phones, probably every 5 minutes, to do something for us that before iPhones existed or Androids existed, we didn't do that. We were doing other things. So these are just all power tools. And I think where I really started getting interested was where you could get, when the AI models, obviously the writing and all that stuff came first, kind of the organization of disorganized data, and the first wave of this was so interesting. But about a year ago, the reasoning models started showing up. So these are the models that went beyond ChatGPT 4.0, which most of us used up until last year. The thinking models, the reasoning, and then they were strapping on agentic features like web search, deep search. They can write code. They can do so. Your ChatGPT today could do so much more, that goes across the board with all the models, Gemini and Claude and everybody else, than they ever could have done. And so they really can, you could untap like a much deeper expert or assistant to unpack anything. So you're basically minutes away from discovering to really becoming an expert on demand at anything you need to become an expert in. Whether it's researching a topic, discovering how to be the world's greatest PR and media strategist overnight, and without having to go out and hire a firm to do it. Um, there's so many use cases that unlock, and so I guess I go back to sort of just jump on whenever you can, and most of us are on that journey now, and just keep unlocking it. Go from just walk-up prompt mode to how do I take a prompt and make it agentic and put it into a workflow, or go all the way and build an app, which is another incredible opportunity for people today. Is what they often refer to as vibe coding, but literally, you know. I'll find myself, to instead of in the past, I would go to make a spreadsheet to do something. You invest like a half a day or a day to get a really cool quoting tool or something like that. Now you can whip up in probably about 30 minutes to an hour a much better version of that quoting tool using a platform like Replit or Lovable or one of the vibe coding apps with zero coding knowledge. And if you have some coding knowledge, even better. But the same technical fearlessness you would have brought to Excel, you bring it to AI now, and you're building apps that you can share with your team. You can eventually, if they're big enough, you could share them with a bigger audience. And so I just think it's such a great time to be around. And in business, and the printing industry is full of entrepreneurs, which is great. So it's very fertile ground for folks to really tap into this. We don't always have the resources of the Fortune 500 companies in this space, but with a lot of AI, you can compete with just about anybody.
Thank you, Steve. I'd like you to give your sort of origin story, or what problem or revelation did you stumble across that made this product possible?
Okay, so I maybe look at things in a different way. First, I really agree that I'm very agree that when we're talking about AI with the learning and content, it's really amazing. It has already solved big challenges like communication and the content creation, research, data analysis, and much more things. But in production, in the print, the real problem is knowledge, and it is custom knowledge. It's accessibility to this knowledge. And to get accurate quote for your production with your abilities, you need all these layers. It's about building the layers of the real-time data of the status of your machine, the status of your workflows and your materials. And if we don't have this super accurate vision of the status and of my availability, all the LLMs have super limited accurate quotes. And here I want to say a very important thing. When we talk about accuracy, number says if you improve your accuracy and your quoting, you get your margins and like increase your margins in 9%, because you don't have waste, you don't have less waste, you have a lot of little mistakes, and you're working really fast. So it's for us, it's more about getting this knowledge of the expertise needed to run a print company, to run a production, to run your quotes, to run your margins, and bring it to the LLMs or to these generic amazing AI capabilities that we have today, and both together will bring us what we actually really need to serve the print companies. So
Great. Well, thank you. Fair enough. I'm getting blown up with questions here, but first I want to I have a couple of polls that were provided for that I probably should have done the first one before, but I'm going to launch one now. I want to know who's coming to Print United. I'm going to launch this poll right now. If you guys can take a second and go ahead and vote in it. Printing United Alliance is making this AI thing a big deal, front and center at the show. Obviously, the 3 out of 4 of us are going to be there. I don't know if Dave's going to make an appearance in Orlando, but we'd love to see him. I'm sure people would love to talk to him. But I would definitely spend some time and see what's out there. I know that things are difficult in terms of business now, more so than say a year or two ago. I get it. I get it. There's supply chain and interest rates and, uncertainty, political, social, everywhere else, technological. But you know what? The worst thing you can do is kind of stay home and not put yourself out there, to stop marketing, to stop reaching, to stop creating. These little sabbaticals or trips to a trade show get you out of the office and your mind starts working. And I got nothing to gain by telling you to go to Print United, but I can tell you that you will get ideas. If you are in the print industry, there's a lot of people presenting new ideas, and you might want to make a quick trip to Orlando. But so far, we've got 21% are going, and we got 79% are not going. All right. Well, thank you guys. I understand not everybody can go to a trade show. I do have one more result, which I will bring up, or one more quiz. I'm curious, as we've talked about AI tools. How do I get back to the poll and the quiz? Keeps showing me the same one. Okay, so I've got another one. All right, I want to know who has spent more than $1,000 on AI products or services so far. I want to eliminate anybody that's bought the Chat GPT or the little tools. But we're talking you've built something, you've hired someone. It's got to be more than $1,000. I mean, I'm trying to judge where people are in terms of actually investing in this technology more than the $20 or $30 a month for a couple of LLMs. And I'm seeing there's still a hesitancy. And why did I pick $1,000? I don't know. I picked it because it's a launching point. You hire someone for consulting for a few hours, or you buy a little tool or whatever. So,
Or Brad, you might want to add to that. There are pro versions of these tools that are, it's funny how the pricing
200 a
starts
month.
at $20 a month
Yeah,
and
it
you
goes
get
up 10
complete
times.
access. The $200 month plan, that you can get $200 month plan for ChatGPT, for Claude, for Perplexity. You mentioned one of my favorite tools, and it's amazing. So you can quickly rack up $1,000 a month using or accessing this much deeper, more powerful features as well. I'd be interested if anybody's doing that.
Yeah, it's very similar. Only about 22% of you guys have spent more than $1,000, and 78 haven't. So, out of us on the panel, I have not done a $200 subscription. As many of you guys?
I've done three of them,
Oh,
and,
wow.
and they're still active.
You
Yeah,
got three of them as well? I actually think we may have one. We have an API that gets up about that high. We
yeah.
buy the tokens.
That would be another question to ask is how many people out here have gone and gotten an API key so that they can build something programmatically? I don't know if you could
Right.
do one on the fly, but that would be really, because the moment you do that, you're taking AI very seriously
Yes,
in
we
your
have
organization.
obviously done that. Who spent six figures on hiring AI developers and scientists to create algorithms that are unique to your thing?
Yeah.
I have. You hire a guy who's a math geek, the guy that sat in the corner in high school that with his glasses and his pocket protector is now making, $500 an hour writing algorithms. Um, I can tell you that if I would have started this journey last month, I probably would not have even hired and created my own algorithms. I would have used some of the tools that are already out there. When we started this journey a year ago, the tools were not that developed to write algorithms, and we had to write them the old-fashioned way, longhand. But all right, let me address some of these questions. I am blown up here. I'm going to try to rapid fire some of this. We'll start with Deb. Deb, there are no guarantees in marketing. So you asked what are the guarantees for our results? There are no guarantees in marketing, but it doesn't matter because it's free, okay? At least for a couple of months. Your guys will get free use. I will listen to all of your suggestions and complaints, but if they're free, you can't complain too much, right? That's at least the idea. So, will it provide a USPS discount? No, unfortunately, but we're going to sure as heck lobby for it, especially when we start. As far as subscriptions, again, my product is going to be free. I don't know if you guys have pricing, but that free is temporary while you help me improve it. Okay, again. Um, let's see, what else do we got here? This is a good one. Are there any vettings in the mailers from your database? The only vetting we've done is outlier removal. So we've chopping off the top 5 and the bottom 5% and normalizing the data so that one or two campaigns doesn't bend the results for everything else. So we've spent countless hours working on that. It's one of those things that's never perfect. At some point, you just have to go with it. All right. And again, the more data, the more normalized it gets. And when I say, and I'm speaking for my product here, the more campaigns that we add to it, the more normalized and then probably the more accurate it'll get. So every month or every year that goes by and we add 200, 300, 400 campaigns, the data should get more accurate, especially as we wait later campaigns and campaigns years ago. That's as I've been told by my math geeks. Let's see. I have some in the Q&A too. We got here. We got 4 questions here. Is my tool ready for prime time? Yes, it will be ready for beta testing. Again, free of charge. You tell me what's wrong or what needs to be better. I don't charge you. Does DM2O make eye for suggestions and file changes? This is the thing that we're stuck on. I have to say, as great as AI is, the ability for it to take an existing design and improve it or change it with camera-ready artwork, we're not there yet. And I'm sure my panelists will agree. We are not there yet. I think we will be there, but we've tried them all. I think we're months, maybe to be safe, a year, year and a half away from perfectly redone, printable, executable files. Would you guys agree, or do you know a source that may be even closer?
I'll add something on this. So Ad Legends, one of the things we're building in is if you think about advertising in general, you have obviously your big ideas and your creative, your writing component, but you also have an amazing visual component that, transcends all different forms of, whether it's TV spots to, printed direct mail to you name it, wide format signs. And one of the things that we were asking was the same question is when will AI be able to be your art director? And visually, and it already can begin, models can begin to look at something you give it and they can understand it. And now we're starting to see the emergence of the ability to prescribe improvements to the art to the point where it can start regenerating layouts. And one of the tools we're building into Ad Legends actually right now is what we call the art director. And it's essentially taking the best of the best AI models that are very good at specific tasks and agentically pulling them together so that you can get closer to that. We're not quite at the point. So I also agree, we're not quite at the point where you just hit a button and it's print ready and you're off to the press. But I think this will happen within the next 12 months. And
I would agree.
and
What the viewer said. So you mean I can't upload my Canva artwork and turn it into something that is quote, quote, good
Canva,
artwork?
most people who use Canva, it's such a great tool, but they wish they had an artist look, a designer looking over their shoulder. It's like, no, the visual hierarchy is wrong. You need to put the QR code here. You got your text, most people don't have that innate skill. We all know what we like when we see it, but it's not built into Canva. Maybe it will be someday. But that's exactly what I'm describing is literally having an AI art director. So we're training our models or the inputs to our models based on world-class art directors that have worked at some of the top advertising agencies in the world and training on the techniques that they use to grab attention. Whether it's a billboard or whether it's in a printed file or maybe it's a Facebook ad or a UGC commercial. So we're kind of following the same path, but the ability to stitch together the tooling now, the tooling exists that understands visually what they see. It can reason on it what it sees, and you can provide art director instruction to it and then change the layout. And now you're seeing AI models that can pinpoint exactly where it'll literally draw boxes around every element on a printed form and can actually regenerate both images as well as elements, text elements, props, characters, etc. So that's coming very fast. But I will say we're not. I haven't seen anybody just hit the button and it does it automatically off to press. We're getting close.
And I want to expound on that. And Steve, you're the resident expert here. So in my hours of playing with it, part of the problem with when I'm talking about print advertising is combining graphics with text. So now you're really challenging the AI because it has to separate the text from the graphics. And when it makes changes, it really sees them all as one. So when you want it
Mhm.
to change the text or put it correctly, it has trouble doing the two. Just an image. Someone mentioned using Getty images to create AI images and search AI. That's a lot easier. Now you start overlaying quippy headlines and text. Now you're really pushing the envelope, and those are two different, very different, distinct features. And I haven't seen anybody get there yet where they can do the two together good. Now, there may be a situation where you use two different specialized AIs, and that's probably where it'll happen first. But it'll be two different AIs, one specializing in text, one in imagery, and they work together. Would you agree?
Yeah, you actually, I think you'll have more than that. So we're having the best success with agentic multi-turns. So it'll take an image, it'll deconstruct it, much like the layers in a Photoshop file. It'll extract out every element into separate files. Now you have your base, and then you can swap something, and then it'll reassemble them like an artist would. So just mimicking what the human designers do. And it's getting really, really good. But you have to go through this sort of, you can't one shot this into existence. Maybe the model will exist, but it's going to be sort of a deconstruction and a reconstruction. And that's where we're finding the most success right now. And that we've already got previews of this in the Ad Legends art director tool.
Interesting. All right, we've got a few other questions here. Al says something about this intent marketing tools really work. I mean, I would like to hear what Al's definition of intent marketing is because this means a lot of different things to a lot of people. Um, I always like to say there are no guarantees in marketing. These are all tools that help improve the likelihood of success. I have yet, in my 20 years in marketing, I have yet to see anything worthy of a guarantee or a home run every time. Doesn't exist. Okay. What about environmental concerns? Experts say AI could contribute millions of tons of e-waste annually. What is e-waste? Do you know? And panelists, do you guys? Well, I'm not even sure what that refers to.
Uh,
E-waste
there might be, I mean, e-waste could be, I mean, we're generating tons of, I mean, we're generating
data.
tokens, data, text, imagery. I mean, and obviously that's, you could say, okay, well, where's all that stuff go? I mean, it lives in, file storage servers. I mean, it's going to be out there. So that's one aspect of digital e-waste, I guess. The other is the energy cost to produce it that I hear a lot about, the concerns about energy costs for data centers.
Okay. Isn't there a huge risk of using for deceptive practices, spoofing ads to gain PI or plagiarism? I don't know that that's any different than now with, phishing scams and all this other stuff going on. I mean, sure, it's going to get better, so people are going to have to get smarter. And I'm sure somebody very soon. In fact, the building next to me is called Know Before, who is cybersecurity. I actually know of several people on the team working to prevent that with AI to combat AI. So definitely coming for sure. Uh, are you analyzing the offer of the mail piece as it relates to response? This is with regard into DM20.ai. Yes, we are mapping keywords in the offer, the call to action, and we're relating those back to the engagement level of the piece. So those are built into the algorithm, and later versions of this will take into account in actually scoring those keywords and how they related to improving or lifting engagement. Our release candidate one will not have that depth. I'll be honest with you now. There are so many stages to go. And as I said, I'm not Steve Altman. I do not have his money. I can't do 200 things at once. So, and that's why you're going to get it free for a while. Next one. Oh, Al is responding intent marketing, it tracks searches by people online and lets you know what they're looking for a printer. Sure, I think that's got a lot of validity. We use that. A lot of people use that. Um, all it means is in their Google searches or AI searches, they asked about printing. Are they looking for a specific printer because they have a print job? I mean, they can't read their mind. all they're doing is we know they search for a printer. They may be searching for a printer for someone else. They may be wanting to make a uh, who knows? But it's hard to deduce they want to hire a printer just because they search for a printer. It can be assumed, but they didn't say that. So I think that's you got to take anything with a grain of salt. It's not perfect. Um, we just got our chat just blowing up here. We talked about environmental concerns. Oh, somebody asked, and I don't have any experience with Nano Banana. I know we're going to try it with our um, direct mail sort of recommendations thing, but I haven't seen our results or I haven't seen a test of it yet. You guys have any experience with Nano Banana?
Yeah, quite a bit. Which is funny to say because 30 days ago it wasn't even a thing.
Right.
But it's one of the better AI image editing and image generation models that's out there, but it has some weaknesses right now. So it's in preview mode. It's it is the first AI image model that actually a prompt can be more than just a small paragraph. It can be like an entire, you can dump
Book.
like a
I
book
don't,
into it.
yeah.
And it reasons, so it's a reasoning model. It's a mixture of experts under the hood that can then eventually generate or perform an action on an image.
It's
There's
full
some
motion video too, not just still images, correct?
the Nano Banana model is a still model, but it works nicely with VO3, which is Google Gemini's video model. So you can use if you have a still, you can use it as a starting point for a video generation, which still is not cheap, but it's a lot cheaper than other things. But Nano Banana, I think it's like 6 cents an image to do an edit or do a new gen. And the state of the art. So the Chinese are the other ones to watch because they are launching models left and right. And one of the ones they launched literally 2 weeks later is a company. Has anybody heard of TikTok? Some of your kids might have heard of it. So TikTok is owned by ByteDance, which has been in the news because of TikTok and the acquisition. They have a family of AI models, and you can imagine where they were trained. They were probably trained on your TikTok feeds. But they launched a model called Seedream 4. And Seedream 4 is almost as good as Nano Banana. Both of them are pushing state of the art in capability, but it's definitely giving us a preview of where this stuff is going to be in, another 6 months, 12 months. These models are getting so agentic, so good. And, for example, Seedream 4 is better at generating perfect text overlays. Like you don't need a font library anymore. You can even just give it a reference. I want this style of design, and I can regenerate it with different text. It's also very good at aspect ratio control, so it'll generate exactly an aspect ratio that you want. It could generate it up to 4K, whereas Nano Banana can do things that are very interesting with the deconstruction of an image, like I mentioned before, like pulling out elements, but it's not able to reconstruct it in aspect ratios yet. But we're only at a preview mode of this stuff, so it's quite interesting.
Yeah, yeah. What is the definition of the word agentic for us laymen here? Can you explain that?
Agentic to me is where you have an agent, an AI LLM agent running a task. So basically, it's not a predetermined, hey, do two or three turns and then be done. You tell it go until a stop condition. You have these tools available. So deconstruct this image and take as many turns as you need and call these tools or these AI models to help you do it until you're actually done. And then when you're done, knock on my door and tell me that you got a result. The best example of agents right now are in the coding world. I mentioned earlier the vibe coding with Replit and with there's Claude Code, which is incredible. There's
Broad
Codex,
codes.
and what they do, they'll continue to work until they're ready for a human to provide input again. That's an agentic experience, and I think you'll see it in art, you'll see it in writing, you'll see it in so many different fields. Whereas right now, most of us are used to kind of a predetermined, hey, I'm going to give you an input, do some work, call another thing, and then give me the output. So the deterministic versus the agentic change is going to be something we'll all need to get ready for.
I
Good,
think
good.
we'll find as we move forward too, just with the just like with the agentic, that's really a big cue as to where AI is going, is how long can it work autonomously? We're all used to, I think, just really to add to what Steve was saying, you type in and you'll wait for text back. Well, now you type in, You go get a cup of coffee or a drink of water, and you come back and you got real work done there. And as we move forward, I think that'll be the cue. It's just this is the worst AI we will ever have.
I say that a
And
lot. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, it's just the ability for it to work autonomously is only going to get greater, which is kind of weird. We're saying, oh, it's taking longer to work now, but it's taking longer to do a day's worth of work while you went and got your coffee.
Yeah, there are concepts if you follow AI people on X and other places where they're trying to see how long can you have an AI agent code for you to build an app or something like that, and it's up to like 20 hours now. Where they just go and go and go and go, and Claude just launched or Anthropic just launched Sonnet 4.5 just yesterday, I believe, which is even more agentic at coding than any of the previous models. And so it just, this is the worst it'll ever be. I use that quote all the time. I also add on to that, AI is not a spectator sport. It is a hands-on participation game. And the only way you get better at this is you literally just jump into it. You launch your agents, you go to your chats every day, and you ask everybody around you that supports you to kind of do the same.
I agree. All right. I know a couple of us have an offer. I will take point and share mine first. Um, so for you guys who would like to participate in my limited private beta, beta.dm20.ai. All right. There is no charge. You will obviously have to identify yourself. I'm hoping that you'll share what you like and you don't like. You will have 30 days from the time you register until it will kick you out. And if you need more time or want to try again, or you were busy and couldn't try it until the last day, let us know. I need you guys as much as you need me or more at this point. So please copy that down, scan the QR code, but it's real easy to remember. Beta.dm20ai. I'm sorry, beta.dm20.ai. You'll register and you can email me. Um, Gentlemen, did you guys have anything you wanted to put up and offer or
Uh,
say? You don't have
I'll
to
do
put anything up.
something.
Sure. I also can show.
All right, I will stop mine. And then I want to make sure that we leave everybody with each of your QR codes so they can write you directly. So go ahead,
Just a minute.
Aous, put yours up.
Just a minute.
I'm
I'm
gonna
searching for
put
the
it in the
video.
chat, mine. There will be a
Okay.
recording of this that will be sent out to everyone who registered. So you can rewatch it. In a second, I'm gonna put up, there's Aus's. I won't take his
Yeah.
moment in the sun here.
You will have full access for 14 days, and you will have also just for you guys 20% for your subscription. Just use the coupon code AI in print.
Very good. Hit that thing. And again, you will get a copy of the deck along with the copy of the video if you registered for this webinar. So let me go to Dave. You want to take yours down, Aus, and then let Dave put his up. And then I want to give everybody's QR code as a parting uh, offer. So I'm hoping that you guys got something useful out of this. I think I got to most of the questions. There was a lot of engagement here. This is a very, what do they call it? There's new stuff going out every day. I mean, we can talk about this all day and not cover every one of the new things. So Dave, I'll shut up. You go ahead and take the mic.
Yeah, the big thing there is aiforprinters.com. And there you will find free AI resources designed for printers at every stage of the AI journey. There's a tip of the week. There's ongoing AI workshops. You'll see Corey's video. And I even have a hard time now saying it out loud because it sounds so unbelievable, but you will see the video where he talks about taking 2 weeks worth of work down to just 35 minutes with an AI workflow. So you'll see that at aiforprinters.com, and then there's also training opportunities and other workflow opportunities to explore there as well.
And Steve, I see you putting stuff in the chat. Why don't you just verbally tell us while I put up our, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll kind of along the same theme here. We already have a free sign up tier on adlegends.ai. It's a QR code here. And we usually load people up with 15 tokens with it. They can do quite a bit already with the creative process in Ad Legends. And Ad Legends really is about, sort of jump starting and hacking the creative process that a major agency would do with strategies, with discoveries, as well as creative ideas. But we'll 10x the credits. We'll give everybody up to 150 credits who signs up in the next
Hey,
3 hours, and we'll know who you are. So,
fantastic.
and you can sign up with just whether you have a Gmail or a Google Workspace email or a regular email, any way you can.
Thank you, Steve. I'm going to throw up our QR codes that everybody can hit us individually. But we'd love to hear from you. I want to thank everybody for your time, especially the panelists for coming out here. Again, you will get a copy. You will get a copy of the decks. You will hopefully come and see us at the AI Pavilion in Orlando at the end of or middle of October. And listen, any one of us, we're all AI geeks. Hit us up with your questions. We love to share and learn from everybody. And most of all, thank you for coming and have a great rest of the day and week. All right, guys. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Take care and good luck and goodbye.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. See you in Orlando.